Uh, so welcome back, guys. This is Madhav PVL, and I'm pursuing my master's in business analytics at Arizona State University. And today I'm going to explain you about getting a maximized profit, or like knowing about the net profit which we are just gaining through a cafe. So here we just required some basic information. So the given information over here is uh, so basically, like we need to calculate the number of the tables that is required, like so that with which we can just gain a maximum profit. And like two table and four members table. So it's basically like it's a couple table or it's like a four members table. And basically, we just got a basic data of the cost per server according to the table, like for two table it's and for the four table, and this is it. So the number of the minutes for the chef and also like whatever it is. So basically these are the given data. Here we can just see the cost per labor hour for server and chef, and these are the minutes which will be taken for the two table and the four table. And here we can just see the revenue per hour with the help of a two table is $100, and with a four table is $150. And here we have a constraint where this constraint is basically the maximum size of the cafe, like only six two tables and 12 four tables can only be fitted in that particular place. So this is a constraint which we have. And also like we have another constraint which says these are the total number of available hours for server and chef. We need to even consider this thing in our mind, and then we can just start calculating. So basically I had marked this in green because we need to find out the number of tables with the help of a solver thing, which we will do at the last. And let's get started. So if we just consider, basically for the initial stage, if we just consider we have one table each, where it's not just it's not discarding the constraint of a maximum number of tables. So basically if we need to just calculate the server hours, like the number of available minutes. So basically here we can just see the labor minutes for the server is 10. So 10 minutes for table 1. So if we just see the server here, so basically if there is one table, we need to calculate with number of minutes that is required. And even for the four members table, here we are considering it as one table and we require this much time. And this is for server, and we need to calculate for the chef also. So even the chef has one table and the number of labor minutes required is this. And here we have number of tables into the number of minutes required. So we need to just sum this both because we need to check for that constraint. So we will just add these things up even for this thing. So here we just calculated the number of the minutes. If we are having two tables, it will just get into this. If we have three tables, it will just convert into this. So this is how it works. And then the revenue is already given. So that revenue dollars per hour is already given over here. We can just directly consider this. And even for the four table, it is given over here. We can consider this. And if we need to just calculate the labor cost, so the labor cost is nothing but here we can just see cost per the labor hour is 18. And if we just consider here, we were calculating the whole thing with minutes. So basically if we are calculating it with minutes, we need to just convert them per hour because our constraint is in hour. So to calculate this labor cost, we need to make sure we convert them into hour. So basically here the labor cost will be like here it's in minutes. So let's just divide it by 60. So by 60 is nothing but per hour into the cost here, plus even need to calculate it for chef. by 60. So this is labor minutes per shift by 60 uh, into B3 as similar for B4. So even we need to do it for the 4 table one. Here we can just see the labor minutes per server by 60 into the cost plus this by 60. Oh, I just forgot to put this thing into this thing. And yeah, so basically the net profit is nothing but the revenue minus the labor cost into the number of the tables. If you just consider it for one for this time, if we need to calculate the net profit, we need to calculate the revenue minus the labor cost, which is revenue is nothing but the amount we get and the labor cost is nothing but the amount which we spend. So basically if we just do this thing, for simplifying, I'm just calculating this whole thing in a bracket so that we don't get any ambiguity. And after subtracting this thing, we need to calculate it with the number of tables. Got it? So, and the next one is again with the this thing into the number of tables. So basically, this is a net profit, and if we just calculate the whole profit, we need to just add this and this. So this is a whole setup. Like if we have one table, one two table, and one four table, we will get $213 profit. But we didn't just make this whole constraints work, because if we just make this constraints work, we will be able to find out the maximum profit which we can get. So let's just see. Here, if we just see in a data, we need to add an extension called solver. With the help of the solver, we will be able to maximize the profit. So our objective is to maximize this thing by changing the variables in the sense this tables. So by changing the number of the tables, we will be able to find out the maximum profit. We have some constraints, so let's just add them. So the number of the tables should be less than the this given constraint. As I said, this is a maximum space of a cafe. And we also have another constraint which says we have only this much of total available minutes, and we need to add this also. And so I think this will be fine. So we just added two constraints, and this is non-linear, but we can just do it in a simplex. Non-linear is for tough calculations, but I think this will be fine. Let's just click on solve, and here we can just see we got some solution. So we can just make this much of profit. This is a maximum profit if we just keep this thing. But the only thing we need to remember is we can't keep 5.1428 chairs. So basically we need to just make one more constraint which says these two should be an integer thing. Otherwise it's very tough. Even this thing should be integer, the sum should also be integer, otherwise we can't do the things. So let's just add those also. These two should be integer, and also this all should also be integer. Okay, it should be only one variable, and if we just consider this, both should be integer. The one thing we need to remember is if we just make these things integers, I think this will automatically gets converted. So let's just click on solve. And yes, so here we can just see this is a maximum profit which we can just gain with the help of this given data. And I think this makes some sense now, because we can just keep 6 two tables and 5 4 member tables. And yeah, so these are the total available hours, and it's satisfying every constraint which we have now. And yeah, so that's the thing, and thank you for watching.